Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope that you will check out the interview that I did with ICA President Dr. George Curry today. We talked about the boot camp and just women in chiropractic, and would love to get your feedback as well. Tomorrow I am on the ICA leadership line with Brian Moriarty, and then Friday I do another interview with best-selling author Mike Michalowicz, who is the author of Profit First and Surge, The Pumpkin Plan, and his newest book, Clockwork. So I'm super excited to bring that interview with you. To all of you, if you know Mike's work, you know he's a fabulous author and quite a philanthropist. If you have specific questions that you want me to ask him, watch for my posts about the interview, write them down or put them there, and I'll make sure that I ask him your questions. So without further ado, though, Dr. Armand Rossi has agreed to join me today. Dr. Armand, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
It's great to have you. And we are going to talk about the ICPA, the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, and how did it start, and where has it been, and where is it going? Many of you know Dr. Jeannie Ohm. Dr. Jeannie Ohm is a big part of the ICPA, and I think it was last week, maybe it's 2 weeks ago, I did an interview with a regular presenter of the ICPA, Dr. Marcia Schaefer,
right.
And many of you will recognize her as well. So when you join us, please say hello, give a thumbs up or a heart. If you have questions, we would like to answer them, but we can't read your mind. So you have to put them in the comment section, and we'll be sure and answer your questions and would love your engagement. So Dr. Armand, let's start right at the very top. Where did you go to chiro school? When did you graduate? And move us into that history and then up into the point where the ICPA started.
Okay, well, I went to chiropractic school at Palmer College in Davenport, graduated in December 1976. Quite a while.
Well, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, probably before you were born. Anyway.
Well, very nice of you. Thank you. No.
But before that, I actually went for 1 quarter to Columbia Institute of Chiropractic in New York City at the time. And I had the pleasure of being a first quarter student there and being assigned a lab partner in palpation lab. And my partner happened to be Irene Gold.
Wow.
And so we got to know each other from day one back at Columbia Institute of Chiropractic. And I met Reggie, and I started my chiropractic real journey right from there. And Irene is still a friend today, and we see each other quite often with that. But
wow.
So I went to Palmer, and I studied there. And while I was at Palmer, I went many times as a student to the DE meetings in Atlanta. And I got to know all the people down there. And when I graduated from Palmer, I moved on to Life College and started teaching there. And this was in January 77. I taught technique and diagnosis and a few things, and started practice there. My practice had it was part-time, and I taught full-time. Then the practice grew to where I was practicing full-time and teaching part-time.
Okay.
Okay. And after 5 years there, and my previous wife, she graduated from Life College, and when she did, we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. And I worked in an organization called the Reach Chiropractic Centers out in Phoenix for Dr. Al Reach. And that was a huge organization. We had high volume family practices. We all saw multiple people, multiple families, and I got really involved with seeing families there. In fact, I had a volume practice of up to 1,000 patients a week by myself in a 3-day week.
Oh, so, my goodness.
Yeah, it was real packed. It was real packed, kind of a circus atmosphere, which we loved and enjoyed with that. But then after a few years there, and I went through a divorce, and I decided to move back to Atlanta and go back to the school. And that's when I hooked up with Larry Webster. And Larry, at the time, was saying to me that he wanted to start a program, a certification program, to certify people in pediatrics, and he had asked me if I'd like to be on the program, and I told him, I said, Larry, I don't know. I said, I'm don't consider myself a pediatric expert. And then he said to me, well, you saw all those kids, all those families. How many were kids? And I thought about it, and I'd say at least 150, 200 visits a week were kids.
Okay.
And he said to me, he said, you understand you're seeing more kids than the experts are? And I said, no, I didn't even realize, didn't even think about that. But he said, I want you on the program. So then I started on the program. And back in the day when I started, we had people like Joe Felicia on the program, and we had Helena Nelson Pete and Ian Grassam and those people on the program. Mike McLean was on the program. In fact, he taught at the same time I did there.
Okay.
So, and this went on till Larry's death, which was in 1997, I believe. And then it took a little turn. His wife took over the program, but then eventually Jeannie took over the program from them. And we changed things around a bit, and it's been consistent ever since. And we love what we do. And we do get confused sometimes with the ICA
Yes.
because we're ICPA, but we are not a political organization. We have no political stance. We just deal in education and research and fulfilling the family chiropractic lifestyle. That's basically what we do with teaching and things like this.
Nice.
So,
So let's go back, if we can, to the Reach clinics in
okay.
Arizona. So back when you were serving 1,000 people a week, 1,000 adjustments a week, was that before insurance was really involved?
No, we had insurance was somewhat involved back then, and so
Okay.
we had people who dealt with insurance and doing that as well. But most of it, I think, was actually cash at the time.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know a whole lot because what we did there was I did the adjusting, and the CAs and the staff did all the insurance and that kind of work. And we kept it so that the doctors just concentrated on caring for people with that.
And so was that kind of volume, you must have had like people on packages and things like that. I mean, that would be so much to process every single day if you're seeing
Oh yeah,
1,000 people a week, right? So talk
we had
about phenomenal systems.
most of it was families, and that's what we would do is concentrate on families. As far as the fee structure was concerned, when I first went there, it was a cooperative fee type of structure. It was not a box on the wall, but kind of pay what you feel you can afford, and you pay to the CA. So it wasn't a box on the wall type of thing. And then
Okay.
eventually it got a little bit abused, and so we went to a family fees and a single person fees and things like this eventually.
Okay.
So
And when you're doing that kind of volume, are you still doing like re-exams every 12 visits and then extended consultations on the visit after that? Or how does that look different than, a practice that's more so 200 or 300?
yeah, we did reeval exams, but we didn't do it every 12 visits necessarily. Most
Uh-huh.
of it was like once a month, and that might be 12 visits if they're 3 times a week, but it might be less than that. Um,
Uh-huh.
we did that type of thing. We did orientations, weekly orientations,
Nice.
and it was mandatory for our patients to come to a weekly orientation. That was one of our important things, and by doing that, by making it mandatory, and I continued that afterwards when I was in my own practice. It got to the
Okay.
point where people knew that they had to come to orientation, so many new patients would come to the orientation first before they even
Yeah.
started, which was great with that.
And would they bring all their kids? So it was like a big chaos,
Oh
like
yeah, sometimes
orientation with kids everywhere
we
too.
we had a play area in the back that the CAs would take the kids and
Oh,
have a
nice.
nice play area for them while we did the orientation for the adults. But we have done
Oh,
kids
fun.
orientations other times too, which were fun.
That's so fun. I
Yeah,
bet you could still do that orientation like almost verbatim.
just about. It's been so long off. I probably could do it in my sleep.
And when's the last time you did it?
Well, last time I did it was about 2 years ago when I ended up in my practice and started going, and now I'm the Dean of Clinical Sciences at Sherman College. So I quit practicing about and 3 months or something like that, 2 years, a little bit over 2 years ago. That's
All
what,
right.
so.
So are you teaching the students there your orientation from
Um,
way back in the 70s?
Not really, because
Okay.
we have other classes that are doing that more updated,
Uh-huh.
working with orientations that way. I'd be happy to add. I have added things. I don't teach a whole lot on the campus. I have my pediatric adjusting electives that I teach, but mostly I'm administrating there. That's what I'm doing there for the most part.
And so what do you think about your new role at Sherman College, which, by the way, I love Sherman College. Of course, everyone loves Sherman College. And the project must be like, I mean, it's going to be done in December. I
Yeah, the
can't
new building,
imagine how
it's
much
amazing.
different it looks now.
It's amazing. Right now, we're going through some of you know, the pains of remodeling and reconstruction, and we're temporary rooms and things like this until it gets finished. But it's right. The light at the end of the tunnel isn't that far away, and so it looks really pretty good. We're very excited about it, and I'm excited since I've been there at Sherman. I love working with everybody and getting back involved with the students and things like this. And, there's a certain energy about that keeps you younger, also, and
Yes.
I do enjoy that.
You
So.
know, I so loved when I was there that it sounds silly, but like the dress code.
Uh,
And Dr. Cordero, I think it was Dr. Cordero said to me that it was actually the students that wanted to have the dress code.
right.
And not only just like we had dress code at Logan once you hit clinic,
Right.
but I mean, I'll be the first to admit I definitely didn't look professional for class those first 4 trimesters. I'd just come from the gym and
Yeah.
sit in class all day. And I think that that's really, really awesome. And just I was impressed with um the manners and the respect of the students when I was just there for Lyceum and had the privilege of speaking in Dr. Bryan's class, and getting to be around the students for like all of the Lyceum stuff. So kudos to all of you at Sherman, and I love the obsessed with student success.
Yes.
So since you've been there, tell me what your like how in your department you're carrying that out.
Okay. Well, one of the things I do with I take a lot of students who have problems or complaints or issues that they want to talk about, and I make sure every one of them gets heard, and everyone gets heard fairly with that. We want to make sure that the students are getting a fair shake with everything. We want to make sure that the faculty is getting a fair shake as well.
Mm.
And the big thing is listening. That's the key thing, is because a lot of times people, whether they're students, whether they're faculty, whether they're parents or whatever, they don't really get heard. That's what I want to do. My thing is to put an ear out, to really listen to them, to see what we can do. If there's nothing I can do for them, I will send them to an area of the school where maybe someone can do something for them. That's the key thing, being obsessed with student success. To help them through everything, to guide them through, and to be there for them as a mentor with that as well.
And you're so right. I mean, I even think like customer service wise, if there's a problem and even if they don't like address the problem, but they just listen to you and you felt like you were heard. Most complaints that's all it is
That's right.
I just wanted you to know I'm not happy with this. Okay,
Right.
we got it, and I'm really sorry, and how that just like dissolves stuff. So what a great way for the students to learn that skill as the recipient of it. So now when they go into practice, they can remember how it felt by Dr. Rossi listening to them and hearing them out and genuinely caring, even
Yeah.
if there's not something you can do immediately, but to know that you've been heard, you're right, is very
And,
empowering.
and even if there's something that I can't help them with, like they're asking for something that I cannot do, at least I can listen to them. And I can listen to their side of it, and give them maybe an alternative or something with that to help them. Because you do get the occasional student who'll say like, I don't understand. I failed the class. I paid my tuition. And it's kind of like a little millennial type thing there. But, but,
Yeah, I
but
paid my
yeah,
tuition.
yeah,
Well, that doesn't give you the degree.
that's right. Exactly. So we talk about that, and we still try to listen to them, still try to help as much as we can with that type of thing.
Well, it seems like Sherman is definitely going above and beyond to make it a great experience for the students by bringing in the community and all of the different resources that you have. When we did the tour during Lyceum, and the special testing facilities, and making sure that every student has a fair opportunity based on their strengths and or their
Right.
weaknesses in order to excel. I'm truly amazed, and you all are too be commended for trying so hard. So let's go back to the ICPA for a couple of minutes. Let's talk
Okay.
about what is the mission of the ICPA and how does it differ from other educational seminars or whatnot in our profession?
Well, the ICPA is, like I said, divided into public education, research, and chiropractic education. So I'm involved as one of the instructors for the certification program. But they also put out like Pathways Magazine, which is an incredible magazine for public awareness and education. It's for conscious choice.
Mm.
There,
Are you
are you
there?
still with me? Okay.
Yep, I'm
Um,
good.
okay, and you have a public choice where they can make conscious awareness decisions upon their children, whether it be chiropractic care, whether it be holistic care, whether it be vaccines, no vaccines, this type of thing. So that's a part. And the research, Joel Alcantara, who is our researcher, has published more papers in the last year than the rest of the profession combined. Okay, that's how important.
Wow.
Published more papers in the last year than the rest of the profession. And what we try to do in our seminars is not only teach the chiropractors about how to care for kids, how to care for kids as far as adjusting and technique and things like this, but how to care for the families, to understand how to educate them and how to go along that line too, but also the research that backs that all up. That's all part of it. Okay, and it's an amazing certification. One of the neatest things is that most all of our instructors have either are in practice or have been through practice themselves. They have had a high volume family practices, have dealt with how to take care of the mom or the dad who's concerned about their child and their, this type of thing, and they wake up at 2:30 in the morning and what do we do and this kind of stuff. Our instructors have been there, and we handle lots of that with it, and we help people get to another level with that. The certification is not easy, but it's very valuable for them because they not only do a certification, then they can go into a diplomate, which is even beyond that, with more so the type of information they need. I'm very proud to be part of that, the ICPA, and proud that I'm still there with it too.
And how many, you've done it since 1995?
1995 or so, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And there are several boot campers that have their diplomat in ICPA, and I've coached several of them as they're going through the program, and it's no joke.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, the last questions what are there 10 questions at the end that they have to do, right? Or
I'm not
like,
exactly certain because they're changing that format a bit right now.
oh, okay.
But I'm not certain, but it was a tough test. I know one of the other faculty members, or a couple of the other faculty members at Sherman College have just taken the test, and one has passed and one is still waiting for their, but they all said it's quite a test with that for them to get.
Yeah, quite a test. And I love the Pathways magazine. I love seeing that chiropractors are using it in the community. I think exactly as you guys designed it, to open up conversations and to be a go-to and a resource, not
Right.
only in the chiropractic office, but in the community as well, because the broad range of topics that are covered. Now, are the authors or the contributors of the ICPA Pathways magazine only the ICPA
No,
instructors?
no, we have different people in there. We have different authors who are not even chiropractors, who are PhDs. One of the neat articles we had a while ago was from Joseph Chilton Pierce, if you're
Oh,
familiar
yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
We've had articles by Suzanne Arms in the past. Lots of different people have contributed to Pathways. It's a
That's so
great magazine.
exciting.
One of the things I've always done is anytime I had a patient who was pregnant and had a baby, my baby gift to them would be a year's subscription to Pathways. And that
Oh, that's awesome.
they would just follow up with it and usually keep it going with that.
And is the ICPA now doing Pathways as a podcast?
They're talking about it. I don't know if they're doing it yet, but they are talking about it, working with that and other methods of getting more social media involvement with this type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, as a new mom, when obviously there's a lot of time that you are super busy, but a lot of times just nursing your baby too, and you can't always read. And I was just thinking, oh,
I'll
I
tell
bet an
you,
ICPA Pathways podcast would be hugely
I'll tell you
successful.
the neat thing that works with this too. ICPA has two websites. One is the ICPA, the number 4kids.com is for the doctors, and ICPA, the number 4kids.org is for the public. And if the public wants to go to learn something, they go onto the website and you'll see a portion of it. And what happens is a list comes up of all kinds of conditions. Okay, everything from A to Z. So you start with, say, ADHD. You click on that, and it gives you the research papers involved with the ADHD in wellness care and ADHD and chiropractic, and you have a whole list of all the research papers to look at. And you can do this with any question you have in there. That's a great resource.
And so then members have access to having those kind of files on their website.
That's a public website. That's the any
Oh,
public can go onto
oh,
that.
wow.
Okay,
That's awesome.
members have other things on their website like referral places and things like this as well.
Wow. And do you know, like, what kind of stats you're getting on that website? Like how many hits a month you're getting on
I'm
the
not
public
sure.
website?
I'm not involved with that, so I really don't know.
Wow. It'd be cool to get it connected to BuzzSumo.
Yeah.
If anyone from the ICPA is listening to this and you don't know about BuzzSumo, get in touch with me and let's get it on there or work in that way. So BuzzSumo is a collection, like you can go there and find out like what are the influencers and what are the hot topics, and be awesome to see like the Pathways magazine listed again and again and again and again, or even the website listed again and again and again, because then we can knock out WebMD or something like that, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It'd be nice if we were that kind of resource. All right, so let's go back and talk about where is the ICPA going? Like, obviously things have changed a ton since the mid to late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it going, and what can doctors expect to see in and through the ICPA in the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, let's say it's going big. How about that? We're getting more and more people involved with our certification program. We give the certification program all over the world. I just came back last week from England, teaching over there. We're going to be in Barcelona in September. We're all over the United States, all over Canada. Next year might be New Zealand. We're not sure yet, or whatever. So that's big. It's grown. The membership to the ICPA is phenomenal. I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's somewhere around 9,000 people.
That's awesome.
That's more members than the ICA, ACA, FSCO put together.
Nice.
And it's a great organization to be part of. It's globally going into the public education more, like the pathways and the other things in public education. We're working with that. The real the person who directs this really well is Jeannie Ohm. She's the person who gets this stuff done. And if you know Jeannie, she gets things done. Period.
Yeah.
So it's really great to having her steer the ship. And we have a lot of people who are just behind her and pushing it and wanting to see things happen like that.
And we got to keep having the younger generation step up.
That's right.
Step up and be involved and become active and bring that element to the table. I said that to George this morning. If you're someone who has an interest in being involved, every single one of the individuals who are in leadership, whether it's the ICPA or the ICA, they would love to have your help.
Sure.
But they're so busy doing their things, they can't look in the crowd and pick you out. So if you're in the crowd and you're wanting to be noticed, just step up. You can Facebook message Jeannie Ohm. You can Facebook message Armand Rossi and just say, hey, I don't know how I can help. I just want to help. And they'll put you to work and you will learn and you will grow. And it feels great to give back to our profession and to be involved and to be, a playmaker of how things are going to continue on, because it's all of us that need to now carry the torch for what those who went before us have done and the road that they've paved. It's our responsibility to keep it going, to not change it and do something different,
right?
To keep it going, to stand principled for our profession and more so for all of the people around the world that we serve. Right. So in the last few minutes here, what are your words of advice to somebody who's watching who maybe hasn't stepped into either the ICPA certification program or ICPA membership? What words of advice do you have for them?
I'd say get involved. One of the big things we have are fights going on in Australia, for example. Australia is really poo-pooing pediatric care for kids. The other thing I would say, so get involved with that type of stuff if you feel strongly about it. And another thing, I'm going to say this because I think it's really important for all people who are on social media. Stop showing adjustments on social media. Stop it. And the reason I'm saying that, not that they aren't good or whatever, but we have trolls out there, people who are anti-chiropractic, anti-subluxation, who are taking these videos and enhancing them to make them look horrible. Like enhancing the sound of an adjustment to make it sound terrible, sometimes putting in crying of the babies while being done to make it look bad. So stop doing it. Pictures of setups, that's fine. But stop doing the videos of adjusting on social media where you don't know, because you don't own that. Once it goes onto YouTube, they own the property rights on it. They can alter it any way they want. So that's a biggie I'm putting out there. And I know we're talking on social media, and that's fine. But a lot of chiropractors with good hearts are doing that to try to educate, but it can backfire on you big time with that. And it doesn't hurt just you. It hurts the whole profession with it too. It's
sad that something that is intended just to educate and to help people see how wonderful a chiropractic adjustment is for a child.
I understand totally. I mean, I was guilty of it myself, but I can see the backlash and what happens with people. They doctor it up and they make it seem horrible, and it's just not fair. But don't give them the ammunition to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and what I would encourage individuals to do is to talk about a chiropractic adjustment on social media, interview the parents, show the changes in a CLA scan, and then have demonstrations in your practice. Like invite people, like come into my practice. This is what I'm adjusting, and these are the parents who are more than happy to have you come and answer their questions. I know in my practice I had like my like my big fans. I can't remember what I called them, but they were basically moms and dads who were on hand and were happy to answer any questions at any time of other practice members or potential practice members about adjusting their babies or adjusting their teenagers or adjusting whoever, that they were happy to be advocates
Right.
for others. And so that's also a great thing, and interview those individuals. And like Dr. Rossi said, take pictures. But
Right.
unfortunately, some people cannot be trusted with something as pure as watching a chiropractic adjustment of a child, and only intend to do harm. So,
Yeah. And
so
when you deal with that, like if you do that in your office or with your patients, things great. But when it goes out into social media, you don't know who's going to grab a hold of it and what happens with that. That's the problem with it.
yeah,
So
yeah, and they can't. Others
we
unfortunately can't be trusted all the time.
we've always done adjustment demonstrations in the office with our patients and things like this. We've always shown that, and that was always neat. But yeah, just have to have a little discretion with that.
Absolutely. And so I want to thank you so much for serving our profession um, as being on staff and faculty at Sherman College, and continuing to be so involved in the ICPA. And thank you so much for taking time to be with all of us this evening. If you have questions and you're watching this right now, you're welcome to reach out to myself or Dr. Rossi. We will do everything that we can to help you, to encourage you, to support you. Please just don't sit back and don't think that others don't care. We do care. You just have to let us know that you want us to help you. And Lena is saying, hello, boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
So, you have to, we all love Lena, of course, of
Yes.
course, of course. So to all of you, have a wonderful evening. I hope to see you tomorrow, or hear you tomorrow evening, on the ICA Practice Success Academy leadership line. And then join me, please, on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern as I interview Mike Michalowicz, who is best-selling author of The Pumpkin Plan, Clockwork, Surge, and Profit First. I look forward to seeing you all then, and God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
And thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. So take care. See ya. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.